What is up, everyone? And thank you for checking out Don't Say the F Word. We are a pro wrestling and combat sports podcast, and we do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. You shouldn't let your friends use it either. It's me, Mark the Monster, leader of the PWO, just letting everybody know that we are going to be live here in just a few minutes with the Iron Giant, Duane Crespo. And this interview is brought to you by our friends over at Logo Luchas. A pro wrestling card game, ages 10 and up, 2 to 6 players. Pretty cool game. We will be hopefully playing it pretty soon here on the show. Let's see if we can get the Iron Giant added in here with us. Power Slap career. Talk a little bit more about the sport. Help folks understand some of the rules of engagement in Power Slap. And see how far out he is from a potential title fight in Power Slap. He is the number 2 ranked heavyweight in Power Slap. Tomorrow morning, the big guy Jeremy will be doing the morning after report for Monday Night Raw. And I think I might have the Iron Giant patched in. Telling me he is unable to join. I apologize for technical difficulties. Everyone, please keep in mind, I am, in fact, a puppet. Technology isn't always the easiest thing for me.
Hey,
Iron Giant, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for joining us. Big guy Jeremy will be here any minute now. I like to get things started off. So you're an Iron Giant. Like, how big are you?
I don't know if I'm like that big in comparison to some people, but I'm 6'2", 280.
That's pretty big compared to me. I'm like 30 inches tall. So you got me beat by a lot.
Nah, I see that.
Thank you for joining us, sir. I'm going to be operating the camera and the audio on this end, and big guy Jeremy is here now. Thank you for everyone checking us out. And remember, this coming weekend, 5 a.m., the Coffee Chamber live podcast on Instagram. Jeremy and his illegal brother-in-law will be watching WWE's Elimination Chamber. And it's coming to you live from Australia, so it's going to be 5 a.m. on the East Coast. They're going to be drinking a lot of rare breed coffee. Duane, what's up, sir?
Hey, nice to see you again.
Nice
How you
to
doing?
see you, man. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
It has been a little while.
Yeah, since the very beginning.
Very beginning, man. So let's just jump right into it. You were at the forefront of Power Slap League, the original show.
Yeah.
We're going back. I mean, that's going back. That was airing on TBS. Things have changed. The format for everything in Power Slap has changed.
It's been a journey, man.
Yeah, the sport has grown exponentially, I think would be an understatement. That's for sure.
No, it's definitely got huge. It's definitely got huge now.
Yeah, I mean, we have Dana comparing viewership to every major sports league, that it's surpassed in viewership, and I think his statement has been a little blown out of proportion by some folks in different forms of media and twisted in different ways to kind of fit an agenda. But I mean, eyeballs are eyeballs and views are views, and there's no denying the numbers that you see across socials for everything in Power Slap. It's right there for everyone to see. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy.
I will say when you get down there to Vegas during like the events, it's ridiculous. The amount of eyes and attention is down there for Power Slap. So like the hype that they're saying, like you could see it when you're down there. You can see all the fans coming up to people, all the celebrities in the crowd and everything, and it gets unreal.
You know, Dana said that the Power Slap event in Vegas, Super Bowl weekend, was the hottest ticket in Vegas. Is that how it felt at the event? Did it feel like that was the spot to be?
It it definitely sounded like that when you're out there, especially like you saw everybody. Like I shout out to San Antonio Holmes. He was down there and watching the fights and chilling with us. Uh, a good time. And that's kind of unreal, you know. Like someone like him, you never think to meet and just hang out with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really the presentation around Power Slap is it, there's no doubt it's the Power Slap promotion itself has taken a what was whenever we first had our conversation a very niche part of a combat sport
Yeah.
and really presented it and showcased you guys in a very professional way and gave a rule set that I think some folks are still very um, not educated on.
Yeah.
You see a lot of things around some of the decisions that have happened, some of the disqualifications for fouls that have taken place. I think a lot of folks don't necessarily understand. Even though I think the promotion does a great job laying it out there, I think it just kind of people got to learn. It's just an education process, I think, for fans.
Well, definitely, and also like when you think about it, most of the people that watch Power Slap because it's how big on social media is is what they see on social media. So they usually see highlights and stuff like that, not the actual event. Even though a lot of people watch the event, there's just way more eyes on the highlights. So they definitely don't know the rules going on, and they just assume it's crazy knockouts, first round, and that's what they think, which is not true.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right, and I didn't really consider that at all. A lot of people are just taking in the TikTok videos, the Instagram reels, whatever it may be, that where they're just seeing the end result, the most climactic point. They're not seeing everything that leads up to it. I mean, realistically, from you guys coming out to if you go to a
Yeah.
decision, we're looking at a solid 15 plus minute affair for one fight.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so, like the event, like, millions of people watch it for sure. But look at one video of a first, like, of a knockout, got 350 million views, and so like that's 350 million eyes looking at that one video, not knowing the event, not knowing anything else, you know?
Yeah. And that's an insane
Yeah,
amount of people.
yeah, that's
Whenever you first signed up, you hopped on that plane and you had no idea what the show was because folks who maybe didn't catch your first interview with me, you had no clue. You didn't know what you were signing up for initially.
not. They didn't tell us any information, you know, just in case they didn't want to run it. And we just blind faith going out there for a paycheck on a tryout for a sport we didn't know nothing about. No names were told. We didn't know it was UFC. Didn't know it was Dana White. We're just like, all right. We show up the next day. We found out it's Dana White. We're like, oh, this is kind of cool, and it's blown up since then.
At least you knew once you seen Dana, you at least knew the check was going to clear. You guys were
Yeah.
definitely going to get paid. You didn't have to worry about that. But man, in those first few days being out there and getting to an understanding of what it was that was going on, would you have ever thought that many millions of people would be seeing you compete?
Um, Before getting there, I would say no. As soon as we met Dana, we did all the interviews, and it felt like big time. Like did all these different interviews and media and pictures. It felt real to like the MMA world. And so like in that moment, I was like, if they run this, it's probably is probably gonna take off, and it took like what 9 months before they decided to do like the TV show, and then finally like 2 months after that before they finally posted one video on social media, and that first video got like 80 million views,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah, something
okay,
like that.
yeah, I was like, okay, this is gonna be crazy, this is gonna be weird.
Yeah, they were very strategic with when they put everything out for that first show and shopping for that TV partner with TBS for the first show. And then I really think that the move to Rumble was people will discredit, oh well, they didn't get picked up by TBS for another. I feel like going to Rumble was a profoundly strategic partnership because Power Slap on Rumble helped Rumble blow
Yep.
up. Like I know so many people
Equal.
like yeah, people went to Rumble for Power Slap, and our podcast is available on Rumble. And I remember I first put it on Rumble, so I'd be like, "What the hell is Rumble?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "It's a platform," and I only started posting there because I grew very frustrated with YouTube and just it's so big. There's
Yep.
so many people there. It's really not an easy spot to gain traction when you're new, or if something happens and they pull your channel, which is what happened to our first channel. They pulled it down, and no copyright strikes, nothing like that happened. I still don't fully understand, and the appeal process was annoying. So we just relaunched a new channel, and but Rumble's a lot more free, and I think for Power Slap with what the sport is, you need a platform that's a lot more free so they can show the full event. They don't have to worry of it being too violent for a sponsor. It's right
Yep.
there. It's on Rumble, and it's the full event, beginning to end. Nothing's cut out. It's all there for everyone.
You talk about like a TBS, so like a TV, um, controversy will always dictate if it stays on or not. So once there's controversy in the sport or in the life of people in general tied to the sport, the TV show would deem it not to do another season, and that just makes sense for them, like all that they have to do. Rumble's a lot more, like you said, free. So controversy is also good publicity, So having a network that works with that, even though people are gonna trash on Power Slap, they'll still watch it. That no one's gonna be like, oh, they don't like it, so let's cut the network. Like they're like, no, they still watching it. It's just they're gonna be in the comments, just a little
Yeah,
different. Yeah.
you're always going to have trolls with everything, especially in something new. I find it interesting to me the degree of negativity in the comments for Power Slap things, and I'm a pro wrestling guy. So I get that behavior from a fan base for sure. Um, for me, I think that people don't get that. It helps build the social platform for Power Slap. So people are in there and they talk to so much negativity and so many really horrible things that they would never say to an actual human being.
I'll say in the
But
beginning, like now it's definitely mellowed out and people are supported and watching on their own. And
yeah,
but in the beginning, I remember all the crazy messages I'd get in the comments and all the different stuff. They're like, one, you're not real athletes. Two, the CTE, the CTE this, CTE is that. I'm like, have you watched any yet? Have you realized that like I don't get hurt like every time I fight? That's different from like MMA. I don't walk out of an MMA fight fine.
yeah,
Like even like
yeah.
even when you win like a first round like KO, man, something's wrong in an MMA fight. Like you just my hand, my foot, my everything. Like, and that was like only 2 minutes long. Like what? You're
It's
talking about
so
4 round
much in
fights.
MMA, man. So
Right.
many injuries, and I think back to me fighting. Like I think, man, I probably damaged my brain more in the
Yeah,
gym than I did fighting. Like it always happens. You're gonna start off and we're gonna spar 70%. Before you know it, you're biting down on your mouthpiece and
yep.
swinging for the fences on it. One of your best friends in the entire world. It's just what happens. But I feel like Power Slap, I feel like you guys you're well protected. If you're hurt, you're not gonna keep getting hit. It's
Yeah.
over. The fight's done and
They
on
take
to the
care of
next
you.
one. Yeah,
And they definitely take care of you. And like I said, I've been doing I've done 7 fights. I walk out with no injuries, for the most part. Like I got injured once. It was just like a little cut on my face and inside my mouth, and that was it. You know, but
yeah,
other than that, no injuries. So it's crazy.
yeah. And I think that you're right. That definitely the opinion of the I don't even want to give the negative people the benefit of calling them casuals because I don't even think they were that. I think they were simply trolls
Yeah.
in the beginning for Power Slap, but now you see so many people are really catching on. It's growing beyond being a niche sport, and it's part of the fabric of what combat sports is in 2024. And what a different landscape than 5 years ago. Whenever you look at combat sports, you've done
Yeah.
MMA, you've done bare knuckle, and now you're just up to your neck in power slap. Um, how different is that for you? You're a martial artist. You give martial arts credit for helping save your life. And now you are a pioneer in power slap.
It it's I like this sport a lot. Like when I first started, I didn't know what to expect, and it's definitely grown on me. It's a lot of fun. I have more fun competing in this sport than ever competing in kickboxing, MMA, and things like that. And then I realized, like in MMA, I just like the training, So like the training kind of stays the same with me, but the competing here, like the difference is overwhelming. The crowd's better, the environment's better. It's a lot of fun, and so yeah, like over time, this thing's been like a monster. But this is like my sport. Is what I like to do now, and so as long as they'll keep me, I'll do it.
You know, I think it's interesting with people in combat sports who keep walking that line in combat sports. Eventually, everything's not for everybody. And you talk about, MMA, and MMA is a lonely ass sport and people don't get it. You're in a gym with teammates, but at the end of the day, that on fight day, it's all you. And pre-fight is kind of lonely.
Yeah,
Post-fight is
depression.
extremely lonely.
Yo,
Um,
no, we don't talk about this enough. We don't talk about depression in MMA enough. Uh, fight
Absolutely
week,
not.
fight week is awful. For at least in MMA, like power slap, I've gotten better. It has been a cakewalk during the week. But like depression and fight week, that whole waiting to just like wait a few days to fight is unreal. And then depression after fights is ridiculous. Win or lose, you get fight depression, which is
Yeah.
unreal. And that happens a lot in power slap too. You see it all the time. But win or lose, like that's unheard of. You don't see that in basketball where you win a game and then you're sad. Like the adrenaline in combat sports, the calm down is weird. You could win a fight and be messed up for a whole week. I remember just coming back from the house season two. I won on the house, but I came home and I shaved my beard off immediately because I was depressed. I was like, "That's just weird." It's like you see it all the time in combat sports, but it's just like,
Dude, it's
yeah,
it's an interesting thing that it's weird to me that it doesn't get talked about that often, and I get that it's the sometimes I guess it's that manly want to be machismo kind of thing where it's not okay to but you're right. Combat sports and MMA and everything, it's a roller coaster of emotions. Win, lose, draw. If someone you're training with is fighting, you have a roller coaster of emotions
yeah,
for assisting that person. And it's Joe said, I can't believe you can be depressed
hundred
for
percent,
winning.
hundred
I
percent
could
can,
say
hundred
I can
percent can.
pinpoint an exact moment in my fighting career where I was depressed in a victory. It was a fight in somewhere in Michigan. I can't remember the city. I broke the dude's leg.
Mm.
Fight was 6 seconds.
Yeah,
I so prepared for this fight. It's so much nonsense happened around this promotion and everything that
yeah,
went on. Like I was supposed to be like the last fight. Then a bunch of dudes got arrested on their way to the event. I was the first fight. And all kinds of things happened. 6 seconds, broke the guy's leg, and it's like I was so prepared. I was so ready for this. And it was something weird. It was like
Yeah.
set to be like two 15-minute rounds. It was some weird unsanctioned thing, early 2000s nonsense in Michigan. That was it. It was done. Like, I've traveled, all this shit's gone on, and like, it's over in 6 seconds. And then to find out that the promotion didn't take care of the guy, didn't
Yeah.
pay for his medical, he was out of work, and you always say, like, man, I was depressed on that day, and now weeks later, I'm still sad for this
Yeah.
man. I didn't want to take away his livelihood. Like,
It's like I said, it's just weird. And I can't compare it to anything else. Like I played all other sports, like you have to come down when you lose because you're a competitor. But to talk about even when you win, the come down for combat sports is just you gotta check on a couple people, man. Like even like big wins, like the really big wins that push you forward in the company, and you see like the big celebrations. Like I tend to text those guys too, like in like a couple days, and when they finally calm down, get home, I'm like, you okay? Like you doing okay? They're like, I was like, I don't know, I feel weird. I was like, yeah, it's fine. There's we could talk about it, man. It's okay, but it's any other sports not like that. It's weird. Um, but there's like this love in combat sports that you stay drawn to it as an athlete, and you just keep doing it. Yeah.
yeah. And I think a lot of it too, especially those big wins, it's like you're at the highest of highs. And then it's that what's after that?
Yeah,
You
that
know,
come
it's
down is weird. It's definitely really weird. It's now like my family they seen it happen a lot. I have a lot of wins, so they seen it happen a lot. They're like, okay, we know what we need to do during the week. Like, hey, let's go here. Let's get you out of the house. Like, all right, awesome. Yeah,
yeah, and hopefully they keep the Clippers away
yeah,
from you. So that
yeah.
way,
No, yeah,
you don't go messing with the beard at
yeah.
all.
No, I learned my lesson on that one. I did not. That one was weird too because what was funny about it is come back. I shaved my beard, and I knew that the UFC was gonna come and do like a promo for my fight that was in March, and I assumed that they were gonna come in February, like late February, because March is a ways to go. I shaved my beard on January 1st. They called me 2 days later. They're saying they'll be there in 2 days, and I was like, okay, camera's gonna see baby face. It's not growing back in time, and yeah, I'm not doing that again. No.
You should just ran through a bunch of heavy ass deadlifts, and that'll make your beard grow. That's always my advice.
Yeah, nah, I ain't doing that again. That's for sure. Like, I mean, we even
So
had
you
that.
are,
We had the beard this last fight. The loser had to shave the beard off as like a part for a sponsor for Power Slap, and they're like, "Why would you do that? You don't like shaving your beard." I was like, "I knew I was gonna win, but it was kind of scary, the thought of like losing it again."
a little nervous. I
Yeah,
mean, your power slap career has not been without its own controversy. I mean, that was Power Slap 4. I think you got the hit with the knockout, but you were fine.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that could take place. Where, how did you feel after that?
Uh, not good, obviously, because the road to the title for me has been postponed a lot. So that one it got postponed the one before, and I had to fight that fight, and then to lose that way. When if I'm if I'm going to lose, I want to lose. I want the person to be better than me that's facing me. I don't want to lose because something that you can't control is stepping in. I can't control the doctor saying no, even though I'm okay. Um, and that's the reason why you lose the fight. Like that's a weird one. I don't like it. I'd rather lose to a person that's better than me. Like, okay, he was better than me that day. Let me go train. Not like I wouldn't change a single thing. I wouldn't change a single thing in that fight because I was winning most of the fight, and then that part happened and they stopped the fight. I'm like, I wouldn't change nothing except for the stoppage. Stoppage,
Yeah, like
stoppage don't happen. He ain't get raised, But other
I
than
was
that,
watching. I'm like, what are they doing? Like
yeah.
he looks completely fine to me, and I'm like, man, like I don't get it. And am I wrong? Like you seem totally
No,
fine.
definitely was fine. I even afterwards, the doctor was asking me about my injuries and stuff. I was like, none. I was like, absolutely none. Completely fine, everything like that. And they're like, really? They're like, I was like, yeah, completely fine. And they're like, okay. And I walked out of there seconds later, just yeah. bad taste in your
Yeah,
mouth. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Like I said, I don't like losing unless the person's like, they deserve that win right there. You're like, all right, that person beat me. Back to the gym. It hurts a little bit.
yeah. We had Joker saying you were doing jumping jacks up there
Yeah.
on the stage. Like, yeah, you were. And I'm like, I've been rocked before where I tried to play it off and I've, maybe shown a little more physicality. Like, no, I'm perfectly fine where I know I'm like I am not
Nah.
good, but I'm gonna pretend I'm good because I'm not.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But
people that
I've
do
seen
that,
it, man.
but I was legit fine.
Yeah, you look totally fine. I'm like, what in the hell are they doing? And I rewatched it again recently. I'm like, yeah, man, he looked like he was just totally fine.
It
But it
happens.
happens.
It happens, and I now know that's a possibility. It's not something I knew before. Um, so like now I go into the fights a little differently. I'm like, all right, cool. Got to be careful in certain spots because then I don't know what the doctor's looking at. I don't know what they're looking at. They could see something differently than I do, and now I walk into those fights like a little more cautious because I don't like losing. I don't like losing. So
Yeah,
if I could keep it in my control, I'm a win for a long time.
yeah, we got Justin. That was one where they were yelling at their TV for you. Yeah, I mean, it was watching it. I was like, when the like, no way, no way, no way. And like, it's over. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't
Yeah,
get what happened.
yeah,
And
it's bad, man. I don't like it. I don't want to. I don't like thinking about it too much because people always say different things about sports in general at a high level. Um, and it's kind of like like fixing football, like nothing, nothing like that. I want to keep, you know, like that thought in my head. I'm just want to be like, I know I lost. Let's move on. You know.
yeah, uh, how many how many fights are you hoping to have in 2024? What are you hoping to see?
Well, it depends. So I like to be active as long as I'm able to be active. I understand, like, the at the end of the day, they're a business and they have lots of people trying to get on cards, and I would like to be active unless I'm a champion because I know the champion has to wait anyways.
Yeah,
So like you have to wait for contenders. So like that's my goal. Like if you don't want me to have as many fights as I'm having, let me fight for a title. If I'm champion, then there's nothing I could do. I have to wait anyways. So if it was up to me, I'd fight every month if they let me. The paychecks would be really nice.
yeah,
But championship belt is what I'm trying to get, and so they would have me slow down a bit after that.
yeah. They got to keep you ready to go for those main event fights. Um, what does training look like for you now? With 7 fights under your belt, you said you're walking around that 280 marker.
Yep.
So you got to make 265 for fights, right?
Yep. Yep.
So what's that look like for you now? Whenever you're looking at a camp, what's diet look like? What's your training regimen look like? And what's day to day working out like outside
Uh,
of a camp?
so I was just saying, camp. It just like once you get like a just a phone call that says you're gonna fight, I cut out soda for a little bit just to make the cut easier. Like I'm a heavyweight. At the end of the day, I'm a heavyweight. There's a lot that I could do that the lighter fighters can't, and I do those things. I do drink soda. I like soda. I do like burgers and cheeseburgers. I'll eat them. I'll have rice every now and then. But when fights start, that's when you get rid of the cheeseburger, and then I still stay with the rice and spaghetti, and then I just make sure soda's like at a minimum. Um, like maybe like one bottle like a week, so you don't get those crazy
Yeah,
headaches. And then
yeah,
like I said, just like luxury of being a heavyweight, you could get away with a lot of stuff. My fighters, they just clean eat though. Like the guys are a lot lighter than me. They It sucks, but I was blessed enough to be a little bit bigger to have a little bit of leeway. The supers, they have even more leeway than me. They have to just constantly be eating. That's lovely. As for workout parts, just basic. I have to be careful with the weightlifting because I can't get too big. So like when I do my weightlifting and strongman stuff, I tend to be like 285. I can't. be higher than that without trouble making weight to 265, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, and then cardio's out the window for this sport, so um, that's why I have trouble, coming down during camps, just because you're lifting and you're not doing cardio. Um, that's I would think that's the only differences for like the workout thing as for like MMA, the regular cardio every day. So I do more strength based, and then when you go down to form training, so like breaking down what you're doing wrong in your swing and going on that aspect for the sport.
So for everything for combat specific with the power slap, you're just looking at form and technique versus MMA, whether you're boxing, kickboxing, whatever. Everything at the end of the day, we're sparring a lot. And it's
Yeah,
that
hard mids. Yeah,
yeah. So whereas power slap, there's no sparring, right? You're not eating shots in the gym. You're
you
just trying to
should you
break down to be
shouldn't you definitely shouldn't be. I know there's some guys that do. They think that that's the way to do it. I completely
really.
disagree. I completely disagree. But
I would
uh,
too. God, I would not.
yeah,
That would be hard.
your ticket goes down every time you get hit in the head. It's like that in combat, like MMA, everything boxing. You could only take so much. Every time you get hit, that ticket goes down and down. I shouldn't be doing it in training. And then like even in kickboxing, like when we say sparring, I usually do technical sparring. You're not even getting hit that hard. You'll do maybe hard sparring like 2 to 3 times per camp, just because you need to feel what that feels like. But other than that, like you're every time you take a hit to head, it ain't that bad. This sport, I like I said, that ticket goes down. I can't do it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me either. I can't believe there's guys out there who are
Yeah.
sparring in the gym for power slap. To me, like I get the meathead in me. Like I get why I'd probably want to, but you're right. It's you can only punch that chin button so many times
Before stop.
before,
Yeah,
yeah, you lose that durability. You only get so many.
100%. That's why I'm trying not to like. I'm trying to get the most out of the sport before my time's up. I'd like to retire on top. Not one of those people like, oh, he should have retired last year. Um, like I think I got a good few years, but like again, once you start to see the decline, you got to start talking about what I need to do to either get better or is it time to stop?
Yeah, I think you certainly still have some good amount of shelf life
Yeah,
in this sport. You haven't taken crazy damage. You haven't been completely put on Dream Street. I think you still have plenty of time.
that's
You know,
yeah, that's for sure. But obviously, the back of the head, you're thinking about it.
it's good to be forward thinking. It's good to be looking down the road at what you could do after the time of eating the shots and giving the shots is over. What do you think that is for you? You want to do is commentary for Power Slap
Honestly,
something you'd
so
like to explore?
I would love to do commentary. That's always been like an end goal for combat sports. Always wanted to do that. I'm the IQ guy when it comes to striking. So like Trevor Whitman, when he gets called for UFC, he'll do like 1 or 2 fights and he'll talk about what they need to do to win the fight. I love that kind of stuff. I would love to be brought in for power stuff for like that kind of vibe. Um, Otherwise, I coach right now, so I coach a couple fighters, um, and I like to grow that when I'm done. Have like when UFC's first started, there's like 2 to 3 MMA gyms, and now there's way too many to count.
Yeah.
Uh, I like to be the best gym for Power Slap at the end, where people like, hey, this is a sport we're gonna do. It's growing. There's thousands of people. They put shows on every 2 weeks. We need a gym to succeed. I want to be that for people.
Dude, that'd be really, really
Yeah.
cool. Especially with your martial arts background, your knowledge of strength and strongman training. You could roll that into
Yep.
one package deal for folks.
Definitely thought about that 100%. Just waiting
Good
for that time and the funds.
for me. I always wanted to like to combine because I did MMA for a long time. Then I moved into strongman, I did strongman for a while. Like, man, I would love to have just the MMA and strongman gym combined. And
Yep,
now
that 100%.
with everything that's happened in combat sports and the growth of power slap and the growth of bare knuckle, there's a lot of avenues for people that when was I I haven't fought since what 2009,
Mhm.
10, something like that. So there wasn't these other avenues at that time. It was you weren't making money if you weren't going to get over to Pride in the early 2000s or
Yep.
get into the UFC. The reality was your fight career was going to cost you more money than you were probably going to make.
I mean, I would say it's like that now.
I think
The
so
low
too.
level stuff you can't. Uh, People don't know the price tags of things when they think that what we do, we don't get paid a lot. I was like, in comparison, like the pro fighters, none of us are complaining. Some of the guys without the combat backgrounds, they're like, we should be getting paid more." I'm like, dude, my first fight, my first boxing match fight was $400. That was my, and there's a flat fee. Boxing does flat fees. They don't do win show. So like
Yeah,
you just get the same fee if you win or lose. And so like my first fight was $400. I'm making way more now than when I started, and I'm not gonna forget where I came from. So it's like people are complaining about the pay raise. I'm like, I like it. If it goes higher and higher, I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be all for it. But I'm not, being greedy. Like I understand that I used to fight for $400.
yeah,
My first MMA
yeah. I think a
fight was
lot
six
of
hundred
folks don't
bucks.
get it. I mean,
Yeah.
I can I can remember early 2000s. My cousin went to Clarion. He was Division One wrestler. He was roommates with Frankie Edgar, and at that time, it was prior to Frankie winning the titles. And he would talk to Frankie, and Frankie would tell us like what it was, baseline UFC contract at the time, what it was to show, what it was to win. And I remember breaking down the math and going, "Shit, that's not much money. Like to do this for a living, that's not a lot of money." Like, and to see things grow in combat sports and there be additional avenues for everyone and for guys to be able to be making, money in power slap and bare knuckle being available to people. I think it's just so fantastic. It's great as a fan to see athletes being able to go out there and work on an art that they're enjoying and make some damn money.
Yeah, and, it's definitely true, man. Power Slap has been a blessing because like the apartment I'm in, everything, like all the stuff in it, the furniture, the food that goes in it, the clothes that for my family, like it's been paid for with Power Slap, with the paychecks over these couple years, and it's getting better and better, and obviously winning helps. But all that stuff is just like it's been a blessing. I'm never gonna take it, for granted. Like I need this, I need that. I've been doing this for the company. I need to do no, like that don't make sense to me. Cause like we're getting decent money in comparison to others. Like I would say like only UFC entry level is like higher than our entry level. Entry level for our sportsman is paying way more than other sports. So I can't
Yeah.
ever complain. I can't do it. So like it's not NFL money. I was like, or NBA money. I was like, nothing's NBA money.
Yeah,
Like we good.
nothing is. That's not like you look at a lot of the pro sports and people always want to draw those comparisons to different things and talk and you see people say it about the UFC and fighter pay and to me I always like I I don't get the argument from fans' perspective or necessarily the complaint at some of the athlete levels because you agree to what you agree to. You're getting what you're getting.
Yep.
And at the same time, whenever you're looking at pay to perform in MMA, you're getting about if you're very fortunate, maybe you could fight 4 times a year.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's being very, very fortunate in MMA. And that limits your window of opportunities where you're making money for the promotion to be able to put money in your pocket. You look at something like we'll use WWE as the example for pro wrestling. You're in the ring performing 300 times a
Yep.
year. You look at what that pay window is per performance. And those guys probably aren't making a whole hell of a lot of money either per performance. So I think it's a lot of perspective, but I think if you're able to do something that you're working hard at and you're getting a check, that's a blessing. That's just awesome. Like it's an amazing thing. I think your perspective on it is absolutely great. It's everything in here, man. Power Slap's giving me the money to get and provide. Like
Well,
that's fantastic.
what people don't understand too is at the end of the day, it's business. If I was to offer, let's lowball everything. Let's just say $1,000. If I was meant to offer is one fighter $1,000, and they're like, no, that's way too little. I don't want to do it. I'll do it for 10K, and then I would straight up look at the fighter, and be like, okay, that's cool. Someone else is going to say yes to those $1,000. So like at the end of the day, you're paying for a spot. So when people are complaining about fighter pay, whatever like that, is there's always someone that's willing to do it for a lot less. Like I would fight high level MMA talent for nothing. Like if you just paid me a little bit more than what I get now, or like even let's say you give me the same pay, but you pay my rent, I'll fight Francis Ngannou. Like and there's people like, no, I would only do that for the $2 million. I was like, we're not the same person, man. Like I'm trying to better my life for my family and stuff, but I'm also not like that greedy type. I understand. I will take your spot if you don't want it. That's the way that I think it.
Yeah, yeah, and and it's that perspective of willingness to compete against whoever. It's those opportunities where you know what, man, if you got the opportunity to fight Francis
Yep.
and you're like, I'll do it for next to nothing. What do you got to lose?
I'd get the fight.
Everything to gain,
Yep.
nothing to lose.
If
And
if you're if they're really like thinking about it too, like okay, we're between two fighters now. One's asking for this much, and this guy's willing with his regular purse. There might just be like F it. Let me get the big fight to the guy, and there's a lot for me to gain on a fight like that. Not the money wise, but the followers and the sponsors, the eyeballs that I was never gonna get before. And so people think too hard about the money, and yeah, money's good. It's just at the end of the day, you started this for nothing. You started combat sports for no money. You did amateur. You didn't get paid. You did it because you liked the sport. Then after a few wins, you realize you're good enough to get paid, and so you started that route, and you don't get paid a lot. At what point do you lose yourself, right? So like,
yeah,
nah,
that's very true.
that's what it seems like today. You see it in Power Slap. You see it already in Power Slap. People feel entitled, do this and that, and like that will never be me. It's like I'm never going to do that. Like I can't say I'm owed this. What is like Dana White says in the UFC? Like it's never guaranteed who gets a title fight. And it's the same with me. Even though I'm doing a lot, it's not guaranteed. So I'm not even mad at it. Like,
Yeah,
so
man,
yeah,
and I think it'll come. I don't know. They currently have you ranked as number two. Um,
yeah.
I don't know who's ranked number one.
Ryan Phillips.
Phillips, yeah. You think that fight's in the near future? You think you guys battle it out for the title shot?
We fought before on the show. Um, I don't know what they're gonna do. Like I said, if they offer me whatever, I say yes. Um, I'd love to fight for a title against the Bell or anything. Uh, I'm not really too wrapped around on that part. If they call me about it, I'll answer. I'll say yes. That's just the way I think about it.
That's that's the mentality, right? Answer that phone, say yes to what the offer is, because at the end of the day, it's going to lead you to where you need to be anyway.
Yep. And then also, like I said before, someone is willing to do it for a lot less. I say no, like no, I need this for that fight. Someone's gonna be like, oh, I'll do it, and okay, like I'm that I do it guy. So they
Yeah, man, you
they
never
want to
know.
offer it to me in the future, I'll do it. If they want me to do a different fight, I'll do it. I'll use the paychecks. I could use it right now for my family. So yeah,
Yeah, if you mess around and you say no, you never know. You could have someone like our puppet friend Mark the Monster could jump in there and he could
yeah,
just swoop that fight up and do that shit for next to nothing. He's
yeah,
money
absolutely.
hungry. And I think it's great to see where the sport's grown to be right now. And we are still in the toddler phase for Power Slap. I think it's great to see what you've been able to do in the sport, and that's been able to provide for you and your family and give you an opportunity to grow in a combat sport that you're enjoying. It's it's so cool to see because that first time we talked and it was just getting started, I thought, man, it's a perfect presentation for something that I think is going to grab attention. But where will they grow after the first season? What will be next, and how will they continue to evolve? And they've done it. And you guys, as
Yeah.
athletes, have all evolved. It's been really crazy. It really, really has.
I mean, you see the people that come into the sport too. Like I think Evian just came on the chat here. This dude's a monster. Comes from pro football, everything like that. You see this dude. This guy's a tank. He's a gigantic human being, and you have him coming into the sport. You have other athletes like him coming into the sport, and stuff like that grows it. When the athletes
Yep.
come in and they learn the skill, that's where you see a lot of eyeballs come in.
Yeah. And that's one of those things where I think that, MMA benefited. I think bare knuckle has benefited. I think power side will benefit from athletes from outside of that world come in, and the talent is elevated because now you have elite athletes involved. So everything's got to step it up a notch.
Yeah, like just say the people that aren't the elite athletes. We have a few of those obviously in Power Slap. Their skill could only get them so far. Like, yeah, you could beat an athlete 100% because you're more skilled than them. But as soon as that person has the same skill level as you, what's the difference? That person's probably going to beat you because he's a lot bigger and faster. So you then have to even the odds. You have to be in the gym trying to be an elite level athlete, along with getting your skill up, and it's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah. Just got to keep up in that XP and trying to level up.
Yeah, 100%. That's what we all try to do at the end of the day.
Well, Duane, I want to thank you for your time. I want to tell you, as a fan, man, I appreciate everything you're doing in Power Slap. It's great to see the sport grow. It's great to have been following your career out the gate. It's not too often you get to say
Yeah,
that with an
that's true.
athlete, so it's a really cool thing for me personally. Uh, where can all of our listeners, all of our followers, where can they find you at?
You guys could follow me on all social media at Iron Giant underscore slap. I'm trying to post as much as possible now. I'm getting better at it. So follow my journey and let's keep it going.
Awesome, man. Any shout outs you want to give? Any sponsors? Any your gym? Anything?
Yeah, this is a shout out to my family, man. They've been supporting me in this journey, and it's the reason why I'm still doing it is because of them. That's for sure. And obviously, the fighters under me, they're willing to learn from me. It's only making me better as a martial artist and slap fighter. So like,
Yeah, man.
it's good journey to keep going.
Something about teaching and
Yep.
coaching helps elevate you too, and it's a very interesting. It's something I
Level
always
up.
found so interesting.
Yeah, I'll say this quickly. I I had this one little weird thing happen where I couldn't fight for a couple years, so I just stopped fighting and I started coaching. And then like 3 years later, I was cleared and I was able to fight, and I started to get ready for that, and I realized that I was like levels ahead of everybody. That I was like originally an amateur fighter. I was like, okay, cool. All I'll do is coaching for the past 3 years, and I'm like, oh, we gotta go pro. We can't. This is crazy. Uh, all from coaching. I didn't do any extra training. It was literally strictly just me learning.
I think it's that visualization. I think it's your brain's able to departmentalize seeing someone else and fixing them.
If I
I think your brain just doesn't let your body make those mistakes
Well,
anymore.
it's more of a you don't know how to break things down, so you have to explain to someone who doesn't know what you're talking about. So like if I had to throw a punch correctly and they don't understand it, I have to break it down. And then now I'm doing everything correctly just to show them what I want them to do. And now I think of it differently too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And it's that way with a lot of things
Yeah.
too. Not just combat sports. And you have to break things down, and it's that Chat
Yep.
GPT prompt. Explain it to me like I'm five. Like whenever you have to do that, it's able
Yeah,
to.
I'm a Marine at the end of the day. That's talk to me Barney style, and let's just move on.
uh, yeah. Man, Duane, I thank you for your time tonight. Everyone, please make sure you go and follow Duane, follow the Iron Giant. Take a look at the Pioneer Power Slap, man. That's the T-shirt. That's the
Yep.
Iron Giant T-shirt. Pioneer Power Slap, right there. But everyone, thanks for checking us out tonight. Everyone who jumped in and helped donate to our fundraiser for Tap Cancer Out, I appreciate that. All that money goes straight to the nonprofit. So anyone looking to help out there, it's greatly appreciated. We're going to continue that throughout the month of February on all of our posts, all of our lives. So I appreciate that from everyone. This weekend, we'll be back at early morning Saturday. We'll be here 5 a.m. for the Coffee Chamber, for WWE's only premium live event at 5 a.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. coming from Australia. So I got to get stocked up on coffee because that's gonna be a rough
Lord.
morning. But Duane, thank you, man. Stay in touch, and before that next fight, we will have you on again. I'm sure as hell hoping it's a title fight for you, my
I
friend.
hope so too, and thank you. Always
Have a
fun.
great night.
You too.
Out.